fund, I'm right at 50%, which is what we want to be. We want to do 25% every quarter. So we're at 50% as of June 30. Debt service, 50%, that's our normal. Operations, this is what I'm pleased about. We have 53% left to spend in operations. Rainy day, of course, is 100%. With operations, Joe and Abby and I are doing a lot of our summer projects that you guys approved when we did the budget this time last year, when we did our 25. What we came to you, what we wanted to do with heating, furniture, and so on, and maintenance. That's what we're working on right now. So we're going to see that spin out a little bit more in July and August, knowing that's coming with the summer projects. But we are spot on with our appropriations and where we're at in the budget. So do you have any questions? Okay. The rest, we always talk about the historical data, but we do that at the end and we do that at the beginning of the new year. And that's all I have for second quarter. So do you have any questions? Okay, did you put the bond on? Let me see it. That's okay. Okay, I'm going to just give you a verbal on the bond and where we're at on that. With the construction bond, as you know, our contingency money, we have a little bit left on that. And what our plans are, Joe and I are going to come to you once we get through this phase 2 of the HVAC. When we finish with the building, it'll probably be, I would see what, probably next month or the month after, probably September.
Phase 2 should be done before school starts.
Okay. I just got our payment for the phase 2 today from the architect. So we're going to talk next month about that construction bond. It should be dwindling down where we're at left on contingency and some things that we would like to talk to you about to finish the athletic area. But we'll talk then because I don't want to get ahead of you. So do you have any questions on the financials? That's all I have for now.
Okay, no questions. That'll take us into old business.
Okay, so we have a recommendation to approve curriculum. The original ELA curriculum and study curriculum that was submitted that you had previously approved, those numbers have changed. For one ELA, the edition went from 5th edition to 7th edition. That was required for the university in order for the dual credit course. The number of students in those courses have also increased, so we brought them all back to the table for you guys to have and see the transparency, and then approve the addition of those funds.
So are you looking for the $3,400 number or the $4,500 number?
So, okay, real quick, I had my other page pulled up. So the total ends up being it's slightly over 5,000. If I can pull the actual amount from, what was it?
The 5541.
Yes, that was all the Norton and Company. That was both for the English 111 and the English 206. That is an additional $3,126 more than what was previously approved last month, because we had the 5th edition rather than the 7th edition. And our numbers went up. We went from 15 for 111 to 21, and we went from 35 for 206 up to 44. And again, in that English 206 book went up by $50 because of the different edition. So for the Norton, for the 2 English courses, it was an additional $3,126 overall. That was just for the Norton and the SPED. Those numbers also went up, plus the iRead, the 180 days reading, third grade level was added in addition to what was approved last month, which was 1384.64 more than what you had approved last month. So we're just bringing it all back to the table, for transparency. That would be an additional 4510.64 above what we had approved last month.
Do we have a mic for?
Yes.
Okay.
Make way. I'll make a way.
I'll remember that.
That always gets me in trouble, doesn't it?
Any further discussion on those pieces? If not, do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? All in favor? Takes us to new business.
All right, so the first is recommendation to approve, student meal prices. For the elementary, paid lunch would be $3.05, and for the middle school, high school, paid lunch would be $3.15. All students will continue to get breakfast free.
Do I have a motion to approve the student lunch pricing?
What was it $2.95?
It went up 10 cents.
Yep, so
And this is required by the
Yeah.
USDA.
I ask this every year.
I know
though,
you do.
So.
So I was gonna-
$2.95 and $3.05
Yeah, it was
would have been the
$2.95.
old prices. $3.05 and $3.15, the new pricing.
But you want to explain why we have to do it?
Because the USDA requires it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You did a great job.
You're welcome. How easy is that? Was this in your packet, the talking points? Was that in your packet?
Go back to that item and see if it's in there.
Yeah, Rachel had an emergency, so she was gonna talk about this. In case you did question, there was a bullet point that we attached in
Oh, it
your
is.
board packet to explain why and where.
It is in there.
There you go.
And is that something that we can get to?
Yes, it will be on our school website. All of it will be posted. What the new lunch amounts will be and what the new lunch will be breakfast, we have free. That, we said that, didn't we?
Good
Yeah.
price.
So the new lunch amounts will be on the website along with the free reduced applications and everything.
But the explanation of why the price had to go up a little.
Sure.
Okay, cool.
We can do it.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
So do we have a motion on the new lunch pricing?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? All in favor?
Okay, next is recommendation to approve the 25-26 non-certified staff handbook.
Anybody have discussion on that? There's no discussion. Do we have a motion to approve the 25-26 non-certified handbooks?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? All in favor?
Okay, the next is a recommendation to approve that the academic banners that we took down in the cafeteria, that those go to Terry Irwin, and Mike been informed that he originally purchased them. So Abby is requesting that we, allow him to have those academic banners.
I have a motion on that item.
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? All in favor?
I want to add something
Yep.
to that. Those are gonna be digitized, so that nothing's going to be missing. We're gonna digitize all of those banners and all of the kids, and we're hoping to also do the pictures, what you see in the hallway, that will be digitized. Be rolling, just a scrolling thing in the cafeteria, so nothing is going to be missing. It's gonna be completely intact, it's just digitized. So, and Mr. Irwin was happy, very happy.
Good.
All right, next is the recommendation to establish the number of transfer students in each building and grade level.
Right, do we have discussion on that item?
That's always a percentage or something, right?
Yes.
It's a formula.
Yes.
Do you know the formula?
I was waiting for that.
You better be the first one out of here.
Yeah.
Do I?
Said you better be the first one out of here.
Okay, did you look at look what you have?
Yeah,
Okay,
hang on. Yeah, find it. Sorry.
it's okay.
All right, at least it's helping me out.
Okay, that does not show the formula, but looking at that's gonna give you a visual, Jonathan. That formula is based on the total enrollment and what our total capacity is for the square footage of our school. So when you take the capacity level along with the total projected enrollment per class level, that is the formula. And I know that's kind of around it, but it is as simple as that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So with that being said, I would like to say that if you notice that kindergarten projected is 52, so we're looking at 3 sections, we're saying capacity is 90, which would be 30 kids in the kindergarten class, and that's not, I mean, we would have to figure out something else if we got to that capacity. So, I mean, it's a spot, it's a number we never got in that danger zone, as I would call it, that high number, but I mean, if we got to a point of 25 kids in a kindergarten class, we'd have to have some serious conversations.
Be a great problem.
I was thinking the
Yeah.
same thing.
It's one thing to have higher numbers in a higher grade level, but especially those lower grade levels. We base it on that capacity, knowing that we might have to have some conversations if we actually started getting there.
Any further discussion on that? Not, do we have a motion to approve the building grade level and student numbers?
Motion. Second.
All those in favor? All in favor.
Okay, next is the recommendation to approve the elementary student and family handbook. Ms. Ham stated that I think the only edits made were regarding verbiage about transitioning from Harmony to Power School. So those were the only changes.
Do I have a motion to approve the elementary student family handbook?
Motion. Second.
All those in favor? All in favor.
Okay, next is the request for temporary authority to hire, which states that the recommendation is for the board to give building principals the authority to hire new non-administrative staff with central office approval beginning July 9th, 25, and extending to August 11, 25, so that these new employees can be in place for the start of the school year. All new employees hired during this time period will be placed on the August 12th, 25 board agenda for retroactive approval.
We have a discussion on that.
Do we need to add anything about pending background check or anything?
I mean, you can absolutely put that in. I mean, anytime we put them on, we always put pending background check, but yes, you can absolutely add that in your motion.
It normally is whenever we do like a higher retroactive. Right, and it's normally in there, so.
Add that pending background check and necessary paperwork at the end of it.
And I guess to me, that's where I was going with that central office approval, but if we want to actually put including
Well, yeah,
background.
you can kind of take that
Yeah.
one of two ways,
I hear
but,
you.
and I would rather add it and not make any
I'm
assumptions.
fine with that, absolutely.
Okay, so we're gonna add that last phrase to catch all that can. Do I have a motion to approve that recommendation?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? All in favor.
Okay, so next is the recommendation to approve MOUs. You can do them all together or you can do them separately. Again, we were removing the Centerstone one until next month. So A would be the recommendation to approve the Head Start transition MOU for 25 through 27. That's just an MOU with Head Start that we agree to, have conversations back and forth and transparent back and forth about the transition from Head Start to kindergarten here and providing information both directions as needed. The next is the recommendation to approve the BKP MOU. It says pending attorney review, but he has reviewed it. It is our current MOU with no changes other than dates. And then the last one, which would now be C, would be the recommendation to approve Indiana Online MOU. This would be pending attorney review. Indiana Online will be used for a few students who might need a dual credit course or a course that we are not able to offer. Kelly, is there anything you want to add on that?
I just think it's a great opportunity for students that need wiggle room in their schedule. Sometimes it's impossible with singleton classes, for kids who are doing a career center or work-based learning, and this will just provide another opportunity. Both of my daughters have done it to open up their schedules, and it's actual classes with actual teachers. It's all online, but there's communication with an actual licensed teacher. So there's a little more rigor in it, and they can take dual credit courses that way.
I have a question though on that. So I know like Ivy Tech classes don't show up will that show up or do do the coaches have to reach out?
It'll all be communicated with the counselors, so once Indiana Online sends the completion of the grade, then it pops into their transcript. But it won't show up as a course, like in Power School while they're taking it.
But it will show up on the transcript when they're done.
When it's done, but what if we have a student that's in the middle, that's failing a class, that's in extracurricular, how does that?
If it's hard, most of these students won't be taking it as part of their school day, their regular school day. It would be in addition to their school day. So if the student's taking a class during the school day, it'll show up as a class section. And so we can actually, like if they're taking on a Play-Doh class or an online class, then we can input that grade in. But this way, it's typically just gonna be that extra class for those higher flyer kids that just can't get put into their schedule. So they're already gonna have a full.
For you, I think.
And maybe I'm not
I know
stating it
I think I know
right,
what you're driving at, and I think I know what Kelly's saying is they will have a full course load here in Power School.
but, right.
So those courses would be the ones that would apply to the, like, extracurricular, you've got to match the 70%.
To make sure they're meeting the IHSAA.
Right, the 70%. So this would be, in most cases, not all cases, but in most cases, this would be above and beyond their normal school day. So like if you had a child that had all of their normal class times full and they wanted to take an advanced class in addition, then this would be kind of outside that window.
So they wouldn't, so if they're failing this class, it won't hold them back from playing an extracurricular activity.
As long as they're meeting their other.
Right, yeah, as long as everything else, they got straight A's on here, which I'm sure but this one they're
They
failing.
still have to pass those by.
Yeah.
IHSAA, which most of them are gonna be taking 7.
Gotcha.
That's good.
Yeah.
Do we want to take these as one, or do you guys want to take them individually?
One's fine.
As one, do I have a motion to approve the MOUs as stated?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? All in favor.
All right, next is the recommendation to approve Resolve Tech for the HVAC replacement for the high school library, band and Titan room, elementary stage, and library. High school and elementary library both.
Any discussion on that, Joe? You want to
Yes, so
speak on that a little bit?
effective December 31st, they no longer make any refrigerant that is like it was before, it's all propane based. So they have found 4 units that were made in December that will replace those 4. So if we do not go ahead and replace those 4 with these, we have to pay a $15,000 fee per unit for an engineer. You have to change all the piping for the refrigerant, all the coils, etc. So if we go ahead and Resolve Tech's going to put 10,000 down, we put 15,000 down, so we get our bond money. They will hold those, and that will save us well over, especially the 60,000 for the 4, $15,000. We don't do that. We don't have to buy the line sets. We don't have to change any of that stuff. So we're gonna save right around $100,000 if we would go ahead and do this. The problem is if we don't do this, I know this is a little sudden, if we don't do this now, they're set, as soon as they're gone, they're out. We'll have to convert. So that's why when I found all this out and they found these 4, I really wanted the cafeteria replaced first, but nobody can find me a 3010. So we're gonna have to convert the cafeteria and the elementary gym. Those would be the 2 we have to convert. So instead of converting all of those, we can just convert 2 and have to buy the little on 2. But that's what I have. It's got a 5-year warranty. It's trained American standard. It is nothing like the classroom units that we've had. It's not Magic Air. So it is trained. Like I said, they can hold them if we can get approval tonight. We can do those and it'll save us around $100,000 in the long run. So we can do other projects.
The rollover period on the refrigerant those would take, do we know when it's going to be manufacturing is stopping on the actual refrigerant? Is it
I do not know the actual date. I have bought some, so we have some just because all the classrooms are 410 now, and these would be potentially 2. So I just have some on hand, and we've already got a couple 410s on the roof anyways. This room is one that's 410, one coil is bad, and they don't make coils for that anymore, so I've got to just change it. The whole condenser, and that's one of them that's in this, and it feeds this room and the band room. So this has been actually running for 2 years on half the system. So that's, like I said, that's why I'm kind of concerned about this. It's just gonna save us a lot of money, and then we've already got plenty of 14 stuff in the building, so it's not a big deal for me to have extra. You know, the R22, like the cafeteria and a lot of these other rooms in the libraries and that stuff, you can't hardly get it. It's $1,000+ a jug. And last year I had to buy 3 jugs just for the cafeteria. So.
Anybody have any further questions or discussion on that?
It makes sense if we could save $100,000, we probably should do it, even if the bond's not here. We do have a cash balance, we can, where to go run the bond.
Tell you how I'm gonna do. Now that we've moved over to 49, so I closed out the fiscal for June. As you know, as of June 30, I cannot be negative in my funds. That is not a problem. Now we move forward to right now where we're at. Tomorrow, I'm gonna set up a fund 0700 like we did with our last GO bond. Set up 0700 is going to be a part of our budget, which is what you all approved last month. We're gonna set that up as part of our budget. I'm gonna pay that the $15,000, or we could pay the full amount out of it. I read negative, don't be nervous. I read negative. We will close the first Thursday of September. We were gonna originally close August 13th. I talked to, Tyler called me for Baker Tilly, and I've already included Jacob McClellan and Buzz McKinney Evans, who's our bond counsel. We are negotiating a better interest rate by pushing it down a couple of weeks, which that's what I'm all about. So we're going to do a bond sale August 13th. We're gonna close on this bond that first Thursday of September. The bond funds come to me and goes into 0700, and we have a balance. We're golden, we're fine. Easy.
Any further discussion? Now, do we have a motion on the recommendation to approve Resolve Tech for the library, band, Titan Room, elementary stage, and elementary library?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? All in favor.
Thank you.
Okay, next is the recommendation to approve the personnel report pending successful background checks and other necessary paperwork.
Does anybody have any they need pulled out? I have one.
I have that.
Okay, we need to pull 3A.
Why don't you, can we just go like 1, 2, 3, 4?
We sure can.
I think.
So under that, then we have resignation certified A, Ethan Cook, try high school social studies teacher, effective end of 24-25 school year. Do I have a motion to approve that one?
Motion. Second.
All those in favor? We have 6 in favor, those opposed, 1 opposed. Then we have resignation from ECA lay coaches, Austin Campbell, varsity track coach, effective end of 24-25. Do I have a motion to approve that one?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? All in favor. And then 3A, permission to hire certified Stacia Garisco, student and instructional support specialist. It's a transfer from guidance counselor position. A motion on that one.
Motion.
Second.
Did you put on? All those in favor? We have 6 in favor. Those who abstain, 1 abstain. And then, do you want me to go each individual here through the ECA and lay coaches, or as a unit on the permission to hire ECA lay coaches? So I can take that one.
I'm good to group them. I don't know what they
Everybody good to group that together? So that would be permission to hire ECA lay coaches, A through T. Do I have a motion on that?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? All in favor? And then coaches volunteer. These are the ones that do individually. A, Waylon Thompson, volunteer junior high football assistant coach. Do we have a motion on that one?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? All in favor? And then B, Nathan Carmichael, volunteer junior high cross-country coach.
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? And I abstain. And then that brings us to miscellaneous. Bill Neal changed from part-time custodian to sub-custodian, effective 8/1. And Angie Chandler changed from sub-custodian to full-time custodian, effective 8/1. Have a motion to approve those.
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? All in favor.
Okay, so the next would be the recommendation to approve the contract for Cheyenne Smith as THS special education, long-term, non-certified sub, with personal days earned from the previous year. So she was in that position all of last year, did not have personal days because long-term subs normally don't, but because she's worked that whole year, giving her the 18 days because she's earned them from last year. So she would get the 18 days as the long-term sub for this year.
We have discussion or motion on that one.
Motion. Second.
All those in favor? All in favor.
Next is recommendation to approve the adjunct teaching permit for Jeffrey Berger.
No. Motion or discussion?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? All in favor.
And we have recommendation to approve the adjunct teaching agreement for Jeff Berger. This would be his equivalent to a contract.
And do I have motion or discussion on that one?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? All All in favor?
Right, the next are just the professional leave and out-of-state and overnight field trips. The links there are just for informational for what is being, already on the book scheduled as we're moving forward. I do not have, next would be my updates and reports. I don't have, an elementary ECA report, but there is a high school ECA report there attached. If you've got any questions. Obviously, school wasn't in session, so we don't have an SRO report. However, we did want to remind everybody that next Friday will be the active assailant drill here at the building. We will send out some reminders through ThrillShare and on social media next week, just reminding everybody so nobody panics because there will be numerous fire trucks, ambulances, not sure who all will show up, but lots of area service and rescue entities have been invited. So there will be lots of vehicles here on Friday. ADM update is there, and I added a tab so you can see where we ended last year compared to where we are anticipating right now, starting next school year, so you could see it side by side. We're down, but hopefully we will have some new enrollees as the school year starts. And then my last update was on our Jordan Woods. That was brought up last month. Mr. Milner is willing to clean up the woods for free starting this fall. He has a degree in natural resources and a minor in forestry from Ball State University. So again, like I said, he's got the experience, is willing to come out and cut up and clean up the acreage of the woods. It'll take some time. It took some time for it to happen and get in the state, especially with the ash trees. So it's going to take some time to clean up. But again, it's at no charge. He just would like the wood. So he's willing to do that free of charge for us. We are currently mowing it, and it can be used for educational purposes. The issue is that our classes are only 46 minutes long. So by the time you would get a high school or middle school class out there, you're not gonna have much time out there to come back. So one thing that we had talked about discussing with the CTA when it comes time to do negotiations was potentially establishing a Jordan Woods club. So it would be after hours, an after school ECA club where maybe they could do something more forestry type and educational back in those woods. In addition to that, Cross Country is currently using it also. But again, I know it's being mowed and kept up as much as possible. But starting this fall, once it cools down, Mr. Miller will get in there and start cleaning up. And he's going to start with the perimeter first in order to be good neighbors to our farmers that are out there trying to get that perimeter cleaned up so that we don't have any wood falling onto farmers' crops or anything. So he'll start with the perimeter and then work his way through.
And to kind of clarify, B and C, being mowed, that's referring to the split down the middle and around the edges behind the field. And that's kind of the same area that Cross Country can use right now. It's not, we can't really go in the woods because there's just too much dead standing. But around that, kind of the east boundary of our property there up to the woods. And then the split down the middle between the two patches of wooded area are usable.
Mr. Pickering came in today to talk about it, and I actually have a file on Jordan Woods. So we talked about the history of that and shared with him exactly everything Sarah just said.
Good deal. Good deal.
Good.
Hey, Casey, I have a question about that. Your graduating kids in the, that club, what is it? Anyway, kids that have to have community service kids to get at that level, is that something they might be able to do to help with that?
That subject could be approached, it'd be something to bring up with, building principals. Those people would be a little better at knowing how that would fit into that slot.
Just thought that might be a good opportunity since it's right here for them.
Yep. Absolutely. Do you have anything else on the woods or your updates?
Nope, that was it.
Don't believe we have a CTA rep tonight, correct? Okay, that brings us to information for me. Next regular board meeting will be Tuesday, August the 12th, 2025, right here at 7 p.m. Do you have any board comments? There are none. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion. I'll second.
You catch it again. All those in favor? All in favor.
I'm gonna go for that one of these days.